always just going to have to defend that.
People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian. Come on.
As Ian Wright just said, there, people deluded, I'm back again. Obviously, we're used to doing this on a Wednesday, but it's a weekly thing with Kenny. How you doing, Kenny, man?
I'm all good, man. How is everyone? How is everyone? You know, we are 15 points behind Liverpool. Not less than a month ago, after we beat Leicester City, we were 4 points. Following Leicester City, Liverpool dropped points to Aston Villa. There was a lot of talk, mainly from deluded people. You're not included. Deluded Gooners.
Thank the Lord. Pork chops, as you would say.
There's genuine deluded people who are saying that if Arsenal won all their games, it'll be in their hands. But when they get to Anfield, they'll only be 2 points behind Liverpool.
Hopium.
The league is theirs. This is despite Arsenal being poor all season, despite the fact that Liverpool were on top when Arsenal had their full team. Liverpool were on top when Saka was playing. Liverpool were on top when Saka had a goal in the team. But still, Arsenal fans wouldn't accept, they wouldn't believe. Then they had to fall back on injuries. VAR. All sorts of if and buts. And the would have, could have part of our fan base came to action. And then West Ham happened. And then
it was lost a long time before that, but that is the narrative they're going to run. It's just like Aston Villa at the Emirates last year.
And all of a sudden, we're all Champions League. That's football. But I want to address one more thing before we start.
Go ahead, Kenny, man. We're loving this, man. Take it away, man. This is why you're here.
I was misquoted on your channel last week, and I'm going to name and shame because, unfortunately, if you call me out, I'll call you out. Just as they say, a favour for a favour.
Go ahead, man.
Call you out for calling out. So here you go. The last week. Let's get it sorted. Let's go back. There you go. I'm going to put the sound down because it's rude because we're live. But I'm going to say...
Smash the like button, folks. Go ahead, Kenny, man.
Kevin George, 9727. I'm sorry.
Say that again.
Kevin George, 9727. He said, I'm sorry. Kenny Ken lost me completely when he said winning the Champions League is more prestigious than winning an international tournament. Tell that to the players. Bobby Charlton, Gerd Muller, Thomas Muller, Sergio Ramos all said the same thing. I've won everything in my crib, and no feeling comes close to winning the club. Don't allow Sky Sports narrative to cloud your thinking, Kenny. Now, Kevin, for your information, and here's a word of advice. Watch the whole show properly before...
People don't do that, though, man.
You get the bones out of the chicken and then keep the chicken without the bones. Because if you keep the chicken without the bones, you'll realise chicken is nothing without the bones. What you need to do is listen. I said that I believe the World Cup is more prestigious than the Champions League. However, the adjudicators on the Balon d'Or do not believe that because since probably in the last 20 years, if you take away 2006 when Cannavaro won the Balon d'Or for winning the World Cup, the majority of winners of the Balon d'Or are members of the public or players who've won the Champions League, irrespective of who won the World Cup in 2010, irrespective of who won the World Cup in 2014, irrespective who won it in 2018. And my argument was that international tournaments should still be the alpha and omega. Unfortunately, we have a fan base, a younger fan base, who hate international football, who moan vigorously whenever there's an international break, who seem to only take an interest in international football when there is a major tournament. And that includes the adjudicators, the Balon d'Or, both for the World Player of the Year and the European Player of the Year. And it seems that if we go by recent events, you would have thought Vinicius Junior winning the Champions League would have been enough for him to secure that Balon d'Or. Unfortunately, they moved the goal, in my opinion, and gave it to Rodri on the back of winning with
the Euros.
So I'm sorry, I only followed the trail. But what you should do, Kev, if you want a chicken, always make sure that you get the bones.
Watch out, man.
In order to misquote me, because I never once said that tournament football is less prestigious than the Champions League. In fact, I've been known the fact. Unfortunately, it's become less prestigious because of, not me, because of the public.
The higher powers that be.
It's because simple reason, you love your Premiership, you love your Champions League, and you get your World Cup, your version of the World Cup every year via the Champions League. The best players in the world play in the World Cup. And even if you go back to 95, 96, George Weah was the only player who had not won a major tournament for his country to win the Balon d'Or.
What a player.
And if you look at Liberia, when was the last time Liberia qualified for even the African Cup of Nations? It's unique.
Couldn't tell you.
Trained. So please don't shoot the messenger or misquote what I said. Just look at the pattern of play. If you want the World Cup and the European Championship to be big again, and you want the AFCON to be a major tournament, yes, the AFCON's a major tournament. Jamie Carragher and Joey Barton.
Facts.
Show it the respect as well. Do not give.
We know why they look down on AFCON, though, man. We know.
Well, yeah. The reason why I look down on the AFCON is this: the simple reason is that it's there to be shot at. The fact is that they pick out the bones of the AFCON. But Jamie Carragher's favourite Liverpool player in modern times is N'Golo Kante. It's Sadio Mane. Make that make sense. Sadio Mane is a player that he always talks about in glowing terms, and he compares him to John Barnes. So Sadio Mane doesn't play for France; he plays for Senegal, and they were
same with Salah in Egypt. They'd both trade everything for honours with their country.
Yeah. And the whole most of the world watched the final. So I just say to people, just be careful how you address the situation. But anyway, this is an Arsenal show. I've done
man, we're here for this, Kenny, man. This is what you're here, man. You're the star of the show.
Let's get back to business, because I think we've got a lot to cover.
Yeah, we might have to introduce Pork Chop of the Week, man. Kevin's probably won that. Damn. We got a lot to cover. Where do you want to start, man? I've got a bunch of tabs I want to pick your brains over stuff, but you got anything?
Well, first and foremost, I just want to say that we've got to stick to football. Whatever happened in the last few days has nothing to do with any of us. I always want to remind all of you guys that the reason why you're called Deluded Gooner is because of your views on Arsenal, not because of views on other things. The reason why a lot of these YouTube channels out there was called themselves by certain things, i.e. Gooner Talk or Arsenal Vision or whatever you call yourselves, is because of the football. And you've got to remember that. Yes, you can't avoid the fact that politics and football does mix. But right now, something catastrophic happened, and it wasn't that silliness at Old Trafford after the game. It ain't about you. It's about the players and the clubs. So let's not. I beseech you guys in the comments to only talk
Free
about
Palestine 100%. I will say that much. But
all right, it's not
crazy.
about you. A football match happened at Old Trafford. So let's get on with it.
And that's annoying. And even that, yeah, like obviously we all know what happened. You know, it is what it is. People can see what certain individuals are, yeah. But you said something there, and I agree. One thing that annoys me is this whole keep politics out of football. And what I mean by that is obviously I'm not going to, nor am I endorsing political chat week in, week out. But for obvious reasons, football mirrors society. You can't get away from it for various reasons. And I do think people pick and choose when they want to use that. For me,
you know what it is.
Go on.
A lot of people attach themselves to our beautiful game. The reason why I attach themselves to the beautiful game is because it's wall to wall now. There's a live game everywhere. The fact is that football players are for superstars, and we forget that because they're superstars, we put them on a pedestal that they really don't deserve to be. We go on like they don't have a shower in their house, that they don't need a shower, they don't need to release
YouTubers, man.
themselves.
It's YouTubers because you
Yeah,
it's not making sense.
we expect them to have a view on world events when really,
Yeah,
truly,
no, you can't ask them everything, but like I expect a bit more.
And I think that's where we go wrong in football. We attach things. Obviously, there's things you can't avoid. You can't avoid.
Yeah, but Kenny, like even with the politics, like even if we were to deep it, you look at a club like Barcelona versus Real Madrid, away from the actual teams, as to Catalan versus obviously Spain. You look at Arsenal with the first foreign manager and obviously the first black team. To me, at times, and I'm not saying be fucking Jeremy Corbyn, but don't deny the obvious, because for me, like even if we look at Saeed, again, we don't need to get into it, but before you look at the fact that he's a Man United fan, I think people need to realize he's Somali and he's Muslim. What's going on in Senegal and Congo and all of these places is absolutely terrible. And to see what Julian did, he's a prick. I'll be real, but that's the most I'll say on that. But yeah, do your thing, Kenny.
That's the thing. It should have got the airtime it should have got, because at the end of the day, we've got to get away from this fact that it's about the football. Something catastrophic happened at Old Trafford. What happened at Old Trafford was confirmation that we were never in a title race, and confirmation we were we were where we should be, 15 points behind Liverpool. That's where we should be. We deserve to be 15 points behind Liverpool.
Title jog, more like title, unlike title race.
There's a lot of Arsenal fans. There's a lot of Arsenal fans who are basically saying, right, that the wall was 11.2.
I don't care what Julian was asking Robbie and all of that, bro. He came on Saeed's show and he was chatting shit. Free Palestine. Robbie, I mean Kenny, I keep cutting you off. Go on. I just don't like when people try and govern my team.
Look, the fact is that every chat you get to and every show you get to, people are people. That is the nature of the beast. The nature of the beast is that events that happen that get mileage, people want to talk about. So feel free to talk about it. We can't stop them.
No, because there's nothing to talk about. Like I've said it all. I just don't like when comments like that. Don't try and govern how this is going to run.
All I hope is that what we're trying to achieve today is that we're going to talk about the Arsenal situation.
Man, it's the Arsenal thing now, man. Take us away.
We've gone from A to B. Last week we were prematurely, in my opinion, celebrating an improved performance against PSV, and because things are so bad at the club in terms of no striker, the style of play is not to our way of liking, and morale is so low, we held on to what happened in my opinion, what happened in
Holland,
in Eindhoven. The fact we won 7-1. Yeah, last week I mentioned that we're putting too much, pressure on the young lads. Like we're expecting them to just be our saviours. I've heard loads of comments last week that we spent £750 million and our best players are the youngsters. That's wrong to say that for a simple reason is that football's a funny old game. Against in Eindhoven, my guy Wanyeri got a lot of space. He got a lot of space, and you see what Arsenal like when they got space. But Old Trafford, he was right to be taken off. Let's be honest. He contributed nothing.
You agree? I don't think he was amazing, but could you argue him and Partey coming off and Marino getting midfield bummed up?
Any other player, we wouldn't be saying that. And the reason why I say that, and I'm going to put meat in the bones, any of those players could have come off in that second half. There was no one who played well at all. Partey was taken off. Declan Rice was nothing to write home about. He scored the goal, and obviously he made that last-ditch tackle. But if you look at his performance, analyse it, his performance wasn't as unmemorable as all the other players.
Timber had a good game, I feel.
The fact is the reason why they had to take Manieri off is because you look in the second half, down his side, the right-hand side, Man United were getting bodies forward and getting the out ball down the left-hand side and making attacks. In the second half, it was all Man United. They're the ones who were making. They're the ones who are making the hemorrhoids. They're the ones.
We should have lost 4-5-1 based on the second half, specifically the last 10 minutes.
Based on the clear-cut chances, a lot of the play were with Man United players running off Wanyeri and running off part of our midfielders. So, from a tactical point of view, say you kept Ranieri on for 20 minutes, for the last 20 minutes and didn't take him off. What happened if Man United continues to make those runs? We didn't shore up the right-hand side, and they would have won 3 and 4-1. You have to do it from a tactical point of view.
Careful, Kenny. You're being fair on Mikel Arteta there. They say you're a hater.
I'm no Mikel Arteta fan, but I've just have to look at it and what I saw during the game. And for what I saw, from an offensive point of view, Wanyeri was locked up by the Man United defence. Man United play with a low block, and because they play with low block, we find it significantly difficult to break these teams down.
Same old story week in, week out, really.
Even with Saka in the side, we found it difficult. If you only have to look at Everton away, Everton at home, they play with
numerous times last season as well.
Playing, and they came away with a point, and they came away
different
with it very
cinema, same film.
Yeah. If you look at the set pieces as well, set pieces again, teams have worked us out. You know, goalkeepers are now coming for crosses because they now know if a player, if they get impeded, they're going to get the free kick.
You look at it's going to go in their favour.
Crosses, so they're working it out. The runs, they're stopping the runs legitimately, but unfairly, but you know, in that sort of legitimately. So that's where we're running out. So if you take away the set pieces, we can't play against low blocks. In fact, that's been our kryptonite.
That's our kryptonite, man.
It's our kryptonite.
West Ham, Newcastle, United, anybody that tries to deploy like that. Our best games have come where people are trying to like make it an end-to-end game thing with us.
And that's the thing. We struggled. Yeah, there were good things we did in the first half. I thought we dominated the play, but we didn't like other than them. I don't remember any shots that Onana had to save. Not one.
No, at one point did you go, what a save, Onana? One of the most shakiest keepers in the league as well. That is a big disappointment, but I'm not surprised.
Even so, Man United not stupid. They're not going to play the way they've been playing against Bournemouth, you know, Brighton.
Amarin echoes them comments, Unks, because he said, like, we don't want to play like this, but this is the best way to get a result. And anytime, I think he's played Arteta twice now, ain't lost.
And that's the thing, he's been right to do that because simple reason is that any team in this Premiership, even Liverpool, if they give Arsenal space, we'll kill them. Man City gave us as much space as we wanted at the Emirates Stadium. They panicked 2-1 down. And after that, they were trying to bleed Man City when really and truly they should have just done their blocks of, you know, 2 banks of 4. Should have waited for the chance that would have come, but they weren't patient. And then hence they kept on coming forward. We kept on going past them and scoring goals.
You're playing into our hands.
No one's going to do that.
Let me ask you something on that, Kenny. Sorry to cut you, because for me, obviously, Arsenal, Man United, it's a different game to the others. But I feel like, as I said, I feel it's the same. It's a different cinema, same film. And there's also, obviously, I think we all know we need attackers, whether that's a winger or a striker, right? But as you said there, we have the same issue when everybody's there. Is it as white and black as I'll exaggerate, we signed Isaac and we signed Nico Williams and all our attacking things are solved? Because I personally don't believe that. And I go to war with a lot of my subscribers week in, week out about that. But it would be nice to get your thoughts.
Well, the thing about it is that everyone just thinks, and I'm very surprised that people who've played the game at the highest level, i.e. the national level and the Premiership, are not even looking at the issues we have at the football club. They just assume that the striker's going to solve everything and that we create so many chances, all we need is a striker. If only. Trust me, we got just as many problems in midfield. You know, we're going to lose a couple of players, experienced players. We've got a conundrum
from a coach in front.
We've got an extreme conundrum with the player we signed for £105 million. We've got another conundrum that if you do get a striker, it's a case of you know, what do we do with Kai Havertz? That's going to be an issue.
Let's get into that as well. Go on, carry on, but I want to get into that after.
Yeah, but another issue as well is that our left-hand side still raises concerns. The right-hand side, I haven't got a problem with the right-hand side. We got, for me, a top right back in the making. He's better than Benjamin White.
Timber's so quality.
But sorry, Timber. But if Timber gets injured, we know we've got Benjamin White.
White.
These two can give each other great competition.
Good problems,
but left-hand side's ridiculous. We've tried everyone for the last 2 years. We've tried everyone at left back, including Kieran Tierney, but it hasn't worked out. We're now
And how many left
out,
eights have we had?
exactly. Yeah, but
And don't get me started on our wide options.
Yeah, I mean, let's look at the left back because that is more, just as significant as left eight. But let's look at the left back situation.
But people act like this isn't the same issues from last season to now, and acting like things are different. If nothing changes, nothing changes.
Yeah, but we got away with that last season. The reason why we got away with that last season was we were playing well. You sometimes, if you, sorry, I've had to. I don't like people phoning me when I'm on a podcast, so that's got to go.
No, you're busy, yeah.
But where I come, this is how I do it. I go from the back to front, and our left back situation is poor. Zinchenko's not up to it. Tini is not wanted. We're now going to Lewis Skelly. We now got a situation that Lewis Skelly is, because of his penchant.
He's a marked man now, and he's still learning on the job.
So as much as he gives us a lot going forward, and defensively he's hard to break, to be broken down, the discipline issue is an issue. Calafiori, good on the ball, but when players run at him, he struggles. So
he needs to go on a defensive crash course. Fire waiting to happen.
Even so, he's not get a proper left back, and that may solve our problems. Then you've got the left eight. You've got Martinelli. He's woefully out of form. That is an issue itself. That's someone where you need to get a top class left winger who can score goals. Is it form
at this point, or is that him now?
Well, it is him because. You can't just say that that it's a temporary, because it was coming towards the end of last season. He was struggling even then, so that's an issue. And all last season, he has been the topic of every discussion regarding that position and performances. We rightly should compare his output to Saka's, and we've got a right to do that because
it's not even half of it. Half would do us.
Let's not forget, he was in the first. He was the first cabinet rank in the first team before Saka. He got injured, obviously, and Saka, made his name. But we have every right to expect the same output from Martinelli as we do from Saka. So that's an issue.
Or some level of output.
You talk about a striker. But let me tell you something now. You can have the striker if you don't have a proper. You don't have your left hand side. Like I said, improving your left hand side. If you don't have a proper CDM. I don't care if you get a striker. You might as well just play like we did under George Graham with Ian Wright. Play the ball over.
We look like a team that creates chances for a striker,
which means you bypass midfield. Because I'm telling you now, we've got bigger issues than not having a striker, and it shows. It shows. But
what do you specifically mean by that? Because that comment you just said definitely raised eyebrows.
Left hand side, we've criticised Zinchenko because he's defensively he's not up to it. We're criticising Calafiori because defensively he's
Alex, your comments bang on the money, by the way.
We're worried about MLS because of the fact that he's impetuous. He goes in for tackles, impetuous as a youth, gets red cards, gets yellow cards and red cards. We can go down to 10 men. The manager may look at the Real Madrid game or Atletico Madrid game and say, look, I can't risk this guy because I can't play with 10 men against these teams. So that's
he's definitely going to go Timber and White, in my opinion.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, that makes it even worse because Timber's not a left back. You've got to make a decision on who plays at right back. You don't just think, oh, you know what, I'm going to be playing Timber at a left back because that solves a man manager decision. No, all you have to do is make a decision. Timber is not a left back. Play left backs at left back. Don't just say, oh, yeah.
But you know the gaffer likes square pegs in round holes, man.
Yeah, but it's fans as well. The fans are the biggest, are the gift that keeps on giving. When Timber was out last season, they didn't say, "Oh yeah, we've lost a centre back who could play right back." We were told we lost a left back, and it wasn't Arteta saying it was the fans because he deputised for an injured Zinchenko in the Charity Shield, and he played against Nottingham Forest. What is wrong with our fans? Do they watch football or what? Don't they understand that? Sometimes when a player plays in a position, he's doing it in order to cover injury. And
he's just doing a job.
It's not his position. I was astonished when we had Arsenal fans saying Timber is left back, and that even now, to this day, there's Arsenal fans that are saying, oh, my first 11 is in goal, Raya, centre halves, Saliba, Gabriel, left back, Timber, right back, Benjamin White. Really?
I'm not gonna lie. If we was playing a one-off game and my life depended on it, as much as I love Lewis Skelly and I've got time for Calafiori, for that isolated game, kind of what you said about doing a job, I probably would go with White and Timber. But that's purely just doing a job.
If you want to, do you want to be doing that for 38
No,
games a season?
no.
Do you want to balance
It's
the
like with
side?
Tommy Asu, innit? It's like you come in, do a job. You might have to do a little man marking thing from time to time for Salah, but I'm with you in that I do want to put people on their right side, like on their right side. So if you're left footed, stay on the left. If you're right footed, stay on the right. Definitely where defending is.
Yeah, but let's get to the midfield then. I talk about this all the time. We have
Yeah,
to,
you said we got conundrums. Let's go, man.
We have to make a decision on the situation. We have to find out about the midfield. Midfield is your engine. The midfield
Where games are won and lost. It's decided in both ends, but that's
but even so, if teams are playing low blocks, then it's your midfield who are going to have to be the ones who are going to dictate the game
and create something. Yeah,
take the game. And right now we've got a situation where we've got a midfielder who plays very well, but he's at a crossroads between his position where he's a number 6 and number 8. There's a lot of people.
I've accepted it's an 8 thing, Kenny, man. The man is just going to keep playing him there.
Yeah, but there's a lot of Arsenal fans who say he's not an 8, he's a number 6. So when you ask,
I think that, but I've accepted what the gaffer's doing. Like you're not going to stop playing him.
If you ask those same fans, he's a number 6. You say, all right, what's a number 6? They'll talk about Claude Makelele position. But you would tell them that a number 6 is now CDM, and that a number 6 needs to do A, B, C, D, and F, E, and F. That you're asking, well, does that guy who says number 6 do A, B, C, D, E, and F? And you'll say no.
Consistently as well.
No, but not even consistently. It's his strength. No. So we've got a situation where you have to find him as an 8. Because I ask all these people, can the guy you say number 6 run a game? Can he dictate the play? And if you
can't consistently receive in the modern game, that's not him. It's never been right.
But you guys say he's number 6. So we're going to have to.
That's why he's playing as an 8, and I've accepted the 8. We spoke about this last week. Like I understand to a degree what
I'm trying to say is that.
No, I get you. You're trying to make people think.
That's a segue into the situation because your bullet points is Arsenal's failure comments. We know we're going to beat PSV tomorrow, but we've got a different game against Chelsea. We know that Chelsea could be foolish enough, like they were last season, to come at us and leave all the spaces. I would love Chelsea to come to the Emirates this Sunday and leave and play like PSV and play like
then we got half a chance of winning.
We will smash them to pieces because they will leave significant space. But if Maresca has a brain, he'll say, look, I'm sorry, I've come here to win. I've come here not to lose. So he'll do what most teams have done this season against us.
Deep blocks, mid block, low blocks.
Yeah. And if you look at our home form, even though we've had some good wins again, even though we beat Leicester, we beat Southampton, both of them played with 2 mid blocks. They just weren't good enough, or they didn't have the physical strength.
And it wasn't straightforward by any means.
But we had to win those games late on. In those games, you look at the Newcastle in both the cup games and the game in the league, low block. You look at Man United in the FA Cup, low block. In the league game 2 days ago, low block. That has been our kryptonite. We've got to find a way to deal with that because teams have worked us out from last season. Teams are saying, okay, they were very powerful, playing a power game where they were getting at us at speed. The set pieces were a weapon that we just couldn't deal with because of the speed of movement and the accuracy of the delivery. Then now I think, hang on here, how do we stop this Arsenal team? It wasn't a case of how do we stop the Man City. It's how do we stop this Arsenal team? And that's what Arsenal haven't come to terms with. You look at our transfer, like business, and I use that term loosely. We thought we had enough. Well, I don't know. You didn't,
I didn't, and many fans didn't.
I didn't think we had enough. I didn't think he did, but I think the manager knew we didn't have enough, but he hoped that our only competitors, were Man City, to the extent that he can coach us into a title challenge.
So do you think do you think, because you said that you think he doesn't have enough? Yeah. Do you think we're being harsh on the manager then?
Well, we're not being harsh on the manager because simple reason is that it's about you. If he's the head coach, of course you'd be harsh on him. You'll blame everyone because he wasn't given the players he wanted. But when you're the team manager, then the team managers have a significant say on transfer activity within the football club. Let's not forget, people have had to leave their jobs, and he still stayed. Perhaps certain people were blamed for the fact that we won't be able to get a striker, and that's why they lost their jobs. Perhaps because we couldn't as I said, get players out the door for a significant amount of money, like Man City seem to be able to do, and Chelsea seem
Every
to be able
week,
to do.
yeah, they're selling something. Even kids that ain't even played in their first team.
Certain people lost their jobs, but the common denominator is the manager's still got his job.
Yeah,
Now,
he's the one fixed
we
variable.
now got a situation where if we segue past the Saliba thing, but we will get back to it. You've got a bullet point.
Don't worry, I've got tabs for us to go over some topics, man. I want to get your thoughts on many things. Don't worry about Saliba.
We're going to get the better later. But all I'm saying now is that just remember, if you're a manager and you ask for complete control of a football club, you have to accept that if you're getting complete control of a football club, fans are going to question you about the lack of signings. They are going to question
you're a full guy to a degree. You've got to take that.
It's not a case of the fool guy. A fool guy is someone who's innocent, who gets the blame, whilst other people get away scot-free.
No, but many people have.
He's not a fool guy.
I don't think he is, but many people act like he's a damsel in distress. He says he's got the best owners. He's going to have to hold that.
Yeah, but he's not. Don't for 1 minute fall into the trap like we did with Wenger. Like he's a human shield. No. Wenger is.
He's saying he's complicit.
Wenger had complete control over football affairs, which meant he was consulted about player salaries. He was consulted about incomings and outgoings, and he had a hand in all of those. Same with Mikel Arteta. You can't be a fool guy or a human shield if you have complete control of footballing affairs. You become a human shield if you're the head coach and players are given to you, and you're the face of things that are going wrong. But when you're part of the situation, you can never be the fool guy. You can never be the fool guy because you are the alpha and omega, especially when we lose, when people like Edu left the club and Vinay left the club. You're not, what shield are you? No. You need to refrain from that and hold this man to account.
But some would say he doesn't have, apparently because of David Ornstein, he doesn't have complete control.
What does Ornstein? Let me tell you about David Ornstein. David Ornstein is basically, how do I say it, a more refined version of our YouTubers who back Mikel Arteta. David Ornstein is a person who was let into the circle of trust. And when you're let into the circle of trust, they show you what you need to be shown, not what you want to be shown, what you need to be shown. So when
they can control the narrative, just like the All or Nothing documentary.
So David Ornstein is basically told, yes, you can come for dinner, and yes, you can take a souvenir, and
you can have your interviews.
Dinner, you've got to do this, and that, so I can let you come for dinner. That's all it is. That's all it is. It's the same with all these other people who go on TalkSport and represent Arsenal.
I represent Arsenal on TalkSport sometimes.
Yeah, I know you represent Arsenal TalkSport in this one. I keep on tripping over your videos of you going, I was on TalkSport. I saw TalkSport as well. Look, yeah. I've seen. I'm
trying to get my TikTok shorts up, man. I did it. My voice is a lot deeper than that. To be fair, I didn't do a video like that with TalkSport when I got nominated for.
I've just seen it. I was watching it a couple of days ago. I didn't even know you were on TalkSport until I saw it. Yeah, you're on TalkSport with a blonde girl. Is that you?
It's just about Abby.
Is that you, or is that your twin brother? Of course it was.
No. It was me. You're talking about Abby. I was on the watch along. They do like a watch along show.
Oh, you did the watch along.
Yeah, I did a watch along show. To be fair, you can be yourself on that.
Were you a good boy? Were you a good boy?
Nah, I could never be. I ain't no industry puppet. I ain't no house nigga. I ain't one of them. That's probably why I'm not further in this.
Would you say nice things about the football club?
I mean, I'll send you the links. Everyone can see. I've been very honest. I was on there saying Mikel Arteta's not done enough.
I watched it. You were very balanced. I was very impressed. You were very balanced. I liked
Love
it.
Uggs, man.
I watched it. It's very good. But all I'm trying to say right now is
but yeah, go on with David Ornstein because people need to hear this, man. Because people see him as you say, the Omega.
David Ornstein is no different from the David Ornstein that he was at BBC Sport. At BBC Sport, Arsenal Football Club gave him information. But the reason why you build up contacts in journalism is because of the way. It's because of the fact that you are shown around the club. You have been told, look, this is how things are going. They don't tell you. You know that you're not being told the full story, but you'll be basically the trade-off is that you've got to put the club into the most positive light, even what those things are going wrong, and you have to be able to put the figurehead in a positive light, i.e., the manager. I've never seen David Ornstein question Mikel Arteta. All I've seen him doing is use the same narrative that a majority of people in football, not just
these players, even though everyone was
you know what the narrative is? Look where Arsenal were, where Arteta found Arsenal, and look what he's done since then. And
big him up for that, but it's about today now because it didn't matter what Martinelli did 2 years ago. We need him to do stuff today. One love for that Arteta over the line.
I know that, but the fact is, the people who are saying something different, i.e., myself and you, Lee Gunn and whatever it was, all the other alleged dissenters, it's only recent. It's only recent we're able to sort of be able to have a voice. Before we were shouted down because we were only 2 points behind Man City. We were shouted down because against the odds we challenged for the title. We were told that we don't want Arsenal to do well, that Arteta's going to come.
Funniest. They don't want us to do. We don't want Arsenal to do well.
But right now is that the tide is changing. You've got Roy Keane saying there is no evidence that Mikel Arteta is the man. Jamie Carragher is saying that Arsenal have peaked. John Obi Mikel, who's an excellent podcaster, who says it is.
I love the way he stuck it on Jamie Carragher about AFCON.
Yeah, but you know, John Obi Mikel, very biased towards Chelsea, very biased towards Africa towards Nigeria, which he should be. But on this, he said the same. He's questioned Mikel Arteta, like he should question Mikel Arteta, because you can't.
They've been there for all of the questions I have. They've been there since last season. Maintained it.
Whether Arsenal fans like it or not, and they could talk about the placings all they like, that we finished the second. You can't be 15 points behind Liverpool in March and in the beginning of March. We're now coming up to the middle of March and we're 15 points behind Liverpool. We've got a game against Chelsea, which is our game in hand, whilst Liverpool playing the League Cup final. If we don't beat Chelsea, it could be 13 points. But even if it could be 14 points. If we beat Chelsea, it's still 12 points, which means the equal amount of games, we're 12 points behind Liverpool. It can't be going on. We can't have a situation where Arsenal fans, some Arsenal fans, not all of them, are going to look at the fixtures. And whilst a month ago they said, yeah, we're going to win this one and winning that one, we're now saying our only guaranteed win is going to be Southampton because Southampton don't play low block and they're terrible.
And St Mary's isn't easy for us half the time.
Yeah, we suspect that all the other teams, like Crystal Palace, Fulham, Brentford, Chelsea themselves, Newcastle, are going to play the same way. But the common denominator of all those teams I've named, they got players who can put the ball in the net. Bournemouth forgot Clivert and Evan
in a great patch of form.
Plus they got Vitaria, who guys can put the ball in the net. Brentford have got Wizard and Mbuemo. Crystal Palace got Mateta.
But there's no one that we could get that would improve us, Kenny.
Yeah, Chelsea have got Cole Palmer. Newcastle got Isak. So if you are going to turn the match against Arsenal into a low chance game, you know you've got the players who can finish the dinner.
That can do the fine margins thing, yeah.
Win. So really and truly, that is our kryptonite, and we haven't been able to break these teams down. We obviously play very quickly and very sharply for half an hour, but when we run out of gas and it's still 0-0, coming up to the 35th minute, that's when it's virtually game over for us. We don't have any ideas how to break these teams down.
Let me ask you something, Kenny. obviously many people assumed we just like obviously forget first. You get relegation's probably decided. I know mathematically Wolves could still go down, but it's probably most people expect all three teams to go down. Liverpool have won the league. The only thing for the neutrals, or indirectly, if you support these clubs, is the top four race. Now we've got 10 games left. I think there's 10 odd points separating, 10, 11 points separating ninth from second. Are we in the top four race, or can we draw ourselves into that? Because our recent form, literally the last 3-4 games, if we carry on like this, we're going to draw ourselves into this or top five race because it gets Champions League football.
Well, at the moment, we're in a league of our own. However, you're right. Whilst we drop points, if we keep on dropping these points, we will be dragged in because at the end of the day, a draw for Arsenal, even let's just forget the league because we've never been in a title race. But if we want to consolidate second place, a draw is as good as a loss. But on the back, because although Nottingham Forest are very inconsistent at home, they put teams away.
Another team that did the low block thing as well. Going back to your previous
like,
example, they even took a defender out.
Yeah, Chelsea will want to consolidate. The top four by beating us at the Emirates, something they haven't done since 2021 when Tuchel was in charge. So they want to be able to do that. You look at our games, even the home games that I think they're going to be difficult for us to break down. And let's not forget we've got the game against Liverpool, where Liverpool, if they want to, can go second and third gear and beat us comfortably. So we're not out of the woods yet, but we need to try and find a way to win football matches and win them consistently, because if we keep
dangerous games
points and teams in and around us start winning games, it's highly likely that we would finish in the third or fourth, and God forbid fifth, but we still be in the Champions League. But that is a complete drop off. But even if we finish second and Liverpool and we keep on dropping points and Liverpool win by 20 points, I'm sorry, that's regression. Whether Arsenal fans
it's regression regardless, they just don't want to admit it, man.
Yeah, but whether you're an Arteta fan or what, it's not even. You don't kid a kidder. If you want to kid yourselves and you want to go around throwing your weight around on social media or using your friends in the media, throw your weight around to shout us down, try it, throw your weight around, but it's only going to bounce back on you.
You can't lie to people all the time.
Exactly. We're not stupid. This has been a regression. Whether we like it or not, it doesn't matter whether we're unbeaten in about 18 games.
Recruitment, bringing in depth, tactical issues, losing against the same teams, not necessarily killing teams. It's the same things from last year for me.
Yeah, but what a lot of these fans will be doing is they'll be saying, well, can't really get rid of Arteta. You can't criticise Arteta because look at our record against the top teams. If we go by the top six, we're unbeaten. The last time we lost against the top six team was who was the last time Arsenal lost against the top six team? Was in April 2023. Was it April 2023 in the league when they lost to Man City?
Yeah,
in the top six. So they're gonna go back on that, and they're gonna see that as an achievement. They're not going to look at the fact that we didn't.
Glorious losers, man. Delusions of grandeur.
They're not going to look at the fact.
They're sort to see their missus, as I said earlier, they're sort to see their missus cheat on them, walk in on their missus cheating and say, oh, at least he used the condom. Like,
but that's the situation. That's the narrative. You can't shut down, put a jar on public opinion. You can't put the genie back in the bottle. You guys, a lot of people set themselves very high standards where they basically were telling anyone who listened that if Mikel Arteta allows Liverpool to win this league, even by a point, he should be sacked. We now got a situation where Liverpool are going to win this league. They're going to win it comfortably. The same people are now going back on it and saying, well, Mikel Arteta has turned us from no hopers into challengers. They're going to be saying
the same people that writ off Liverpool this season are now saying, "Oh, but they've got Salah, but they got this." It's just bare moving goalposts. Just keep it 100.
Yeah, we did try to tell them though, didn't we? We did try.
We did, because remember what they said, Kenny. When this team who are sat in fifth fall off, we're going to be the ones to pounce.
Exactly.
Winners win, losers explain.
We did try.
Don't get me started on the domestic cups.
Yeah, but the fact is we didn't use our brains. And what I mean is we didn't use our brains is that for some reason we did. If we want to use the narrative of injuries, we could lay that clearly at the door of Liverpool last season. Liverpool, got 80. Was it? They got 82 points. They dropped off, but when Salah was injured consistently last season, when he came back from injury, he was awful. You had
And by that
injuries.
logic, why didn't we win the league last year? I even cut the club to a bit of slack. I tried not to mention 2022-23. Last year, the league should have been won. This year it was finished before a ball was even kicked. So that's 3 years explaining.
And that is the situation. That's the situation. You always thought,
and our manager keeps mentioning that injuries and red card thing, Kenny, as well, man.
He's entitled to, because simple reasons that two reasons. His job is to motivate fans as well as the players. His job is to tell fans, look, we're going to give it a go. Come to the Emirates, fill the stadiums. If he was to go and say the truth, said, mate, you know what, we've got no chance of winning this league, and I don't know where our next win's going to come from. You're going to have attendances of 30,000 rather than 60,000. He's not a fool. That's his job. It's his job. He knows deep down. You'll find out the truth about Arteta. Say he leaves Arsenal, and say in 18 months' time he gives an interview.
Comes out the book in the interviews.
He either gives an interview to L'Equipe, or he gives an interview to Casella Sports, or he gives an
or Balaguer, or Laurence.
To those guys. He will give them bullet points of where it went wrong, and he will focus on this season just gone, and he will say what we've all been saying. But at the moment, he's paid £50 million a year not to say these things. We still got 10 games this season. We've got 2 more games in the Champions League minimum. So I'm sorry,
God's grace, a lot more.
You don't tell paying fans that it's all doom and gloom. That we're not going to get. We don't know where our next win's going to come from. We're going to get smashed by Real Madrid or Atletico Madrid, and we're not going to win any trophies. It's up to you whether you want to come or not. If you tell fans that, say, okay, we're going to put our tickets back in the ticket exchange.
So what do you think of this then, Kenny?
You'd be sacked to the spot if he said that.
So what do you think of this then, Kenny? Because today he said, Mikel Arteta, when asked if this season is a failure if Arsenal don't win silverware, he said, we are not there yet. The way I describe failure is different compared to what someone else does.
Yeah.
Is he wrong, though?
No, that's an answer without answering the question. He did. That's an answer. That's a politician's answer. He's not a fool. He knows. He knows it's a failure. He knows. He knows that teams work out his players. He knows that deep down, playing standards and playing standards are dropped. He knows performances are dropped, and he knows that only very, very few players have lived up to their reputations. He's not a fool. He sees them in training. He sees them in match. He motivates them at half time in terms of the team talks. He has team talks beforehand, and he'll have a team talk afterwards. He's not stupid. He watches it. He watches videos of the players. He analysed performance. He's probably got them into his office and said, hey, what's going on, Martinelli? What's happened? This is you last year. What's going on? You're not doing this. You're not running hard enough. You're not pressing. What's happening? Are you injured? He would have had these conversations. But you're only going to find that out further down the line.
But is he wrong though? Because is silverware the only way to judge success? Is he wrong though?
Look, he's not. Mikel Arteta is basically
because a man that gets up every day with the desire to succeed, surely that's success.
What do you want Mikel Arteta to say? Do you want Mikel Arteta to say if he says that it is, then fans are going to do what they're doing tomorrow. They're going to give their tickets back to the ticket exchange because we've already won the tie. But
PSV tickets still available, folks, if you want to go.
Yeah, but if he carries on this narrative, we got no chance, you're going to see a lot of tickets being made available for all the remaining home games. You're going to see a very low. You're going to see, away tickets going to people with even the least points because he's basically given the season up. Look what happened under Arsene Wenger. Look at the last season after Arsene Wenger. There was
towards the end of January as well.
A lot of people with very few points were getting away tickets because people didn't want to go no more. A lot of tickets went on to the exchange because there was no point. We weren't going to get into the top 4. We were finished a comfortable 6th. Our away form was terrible. The players weren't playing great football. Everything was on a downer. If you translate that from fluent Martian into fluent English,
Fluent
this
Martian.
is a waste of time. So Mikel Arteta's not going to be stupid enough to say as it is. He'd be a fool to. Should be sacked on the spot. He has to try and reinvigorate the season, because if he doesn't, no one's going to turn up.
The over my dead body type. Well, you know, he's gonna try something else in it, because the over my dead body thing didn't work. Like, it's crazy. What else have I got? There's something else with Arteta I want to ask while we're here. Yeah, I think a couple of days ago he was asked about this phase stuff. Mikel Arteta, on what phase Arsenal are in from his planned 5-phase plan. So we should be in the final one. He said phase 4 to 5, establishing yourself at the highest level in the Champions League, consistently perform with a lot of unity and being very close to touching big trophies. Very different from what he said at the start of the year. But what do you make of that?
Well, I'll tell you what, Mikel Arteta's got a very good PR woman next to him. She I'll tell you one thing. She must have had the questions given her beforehand.
Did you buy his book?
Proofread the questions, and then he's able to, reply the narrative. The fact is it's very convenient, for him to talk about phases, because simple reason is that his supporters in the media, amongst our fan base, will say there's phase 5, but because we're not challenging, it's going to be, instead of it being phase 5, it's going to be phase 4.5.
Yeah, we have to go back at the very minimum. We have to go back and now go forward.
We're no longer in phase 5. We're in phase 4.5. We're really close to trophies.
Stagnation, regression.
If you keep me, which is basically what it's trying to say, if you keep me on, I promise you, I'll deliver trophies, because I'm the only man who can deliver trophies. Look how close I've got you. That's what he's saying. Look how close I've got you.
But can he do it though? Because big up.
See, that's the thing about Mikel Arteta. He's not going to admit to me and you that there's a massive, massive step between lifting the Premiership title.
I'm happy you said that, Kenny, because people tried to gaslight me into not believing that.
He won't admit that. He won't admit that.
And he knows it. You was at City.
He knows it. For instance, this is very convenient. All of these, the most wins for his first 200 games. This is all about saying, if you sack Mikel Arteta, how can you sack Mikel Arteta when he's got that record? 118 wins on 200 games. Who's done it? He's done it. He's done it quicker than Dalglish. He's done it quicker than Pochettino. Quicker than Ranieri. He's won the league. Quicker than Arsene Wenger. He's won 3 championships. It's all about picking this guy up. They're basically saying, look what this guy's done, and he hasn't won the title. Can you imagine him? Can you imagine what he's like if he wins? This is what it's all about. It's bullshit. It's bullshit.
And that's the thing. That's the thing. Is like, it's annoying with Arteta in that there's many things I like about you. I think you're a good coach, but you're not getting over the line.
Yeah, but let me tell you something now.
And you're shooting yourself in the foot more than anything away from it.
There's no one going to analyse it, because Mikel Arteta still has a majority of people in our fan base who think he's doing a good job.
It's a cult figure.
They're now saying there's constraints. They're not saying that it's financial.
We're being briefed, in it, Kenny, about constraints.
Yeah. So basically, they're still, how do I call it? What I call a think tank with amongst our supporters who think Mikel Arteta is still a man. I don't think he's the man. I think it's time for him to go. Not because I think I've got a personal dislike of him. I'm a football fan.
And you want to be proven wrong more than anything. Who doesn't? There has to be questions.
Yeah, but you know what? I think I've left that destination. I don't want to be proven wrong, because I think after 6 years, I want to see another man on the basis, not just out of digging my heels in. What I'm saying,
you've been passionate about the 6-year, 5-year period.
I'm just saying that a manager's cycle should be between 4 to 6 years, and his time is up. He's had his time. He's had his money to spend. He's had his opportunities. He's had his title race. You can't use the fact that we got in the Champions League as an excuse to get him.
Don't run again.
And because unfortunately for Mikel Arteta, the goalposts have moved. When he first came to the football club, the Alpha and Omega was the Champions League, but since he's been at the football club in the last couple of years, the Alpha and Omega is a title and it's trophies. So getting us in the top 4 is not enough. But for certain people within the media, ex-players who support Mikel Arteta, fans who support Mikel Arteta, they're trying to basically pat us on the head, tell us to, stay in the shadows permanently and not
Don't
have
be
our say.
negative. Or be not even honest. Don't be honesty is negative. But if it was a flip side, yeah, and we was winning and we won the league and we still had these same concerns, they wouldn't tell us calm down. We need to improve. It's
Look,
annoying. It's annoying. When we win, they want to sing from the rooftops.
Let me say something now. All those people who pro Wenger and Wenger in, they accepted that his time was up. They even shouted it from the rooftops. The reason why I shouted it from the rooftops is because the evidence was too damning for them to say anything else. So they thought, you know what, I think he should go because I think he's looking a bit tired. And
Even these pro,
but they won't use the same
mask slip as well.
They won't use the same sort of like descriptions of adjectives we will use. They will say that the pressure on him was on Wenger was immense. That he had to go because the way the fans are, with the fact he's wasted his time trying to get the club back to where we belong. But fans are ungrateful, so they're going to use the same narrative of Mikel. They're going to say like the reason why Mikel should quit is because the tide has turned and our fans
doing us a favour. He's not a damsel in distress. Like, it's a relationship of convenience. This is a massive club for you to take in your first job, and all the stuff that you had, that other managers have been sacked for less. This is not that. Like, it's not that. If anyone's doing a favour, it's you. Too much people are loyal to the manager rather than the club.
Yeah, but the problem with our fans, and I'll say it now, the problem with our fans is that we never learn.
Never.
And the reason why I say we never learn, if you put your club before a player and put your club before a manager, you wouldn't have a situation where you would be sticking tightly and putting your flags tightly to the mast of Martinelli is out of form. You'll be saying as it is, but because you're Martinelli fans, you guys are out of order. How dare you? This is Martinelli slander. The same thing you do for the fans, towards managers.
It's gaslighting, man.
Yeah, and that's the whole situation. You should have a cold eye when you talk about the players. Let's not forget, under Arsene Wenger, we saw a lot of disloyalty from a lot of our players who put higher salaries and success elsewhere before the football club. All of them did it. Fabregas is the worst one ever. How Arsenal fans show Cesc Fabregas any love is beyond me. It's beyond the pale. The guy is the most duplicitous little rats I've ever seen. But
is that just because he went to Chelsea?
There's more.
Let us know, man.
There's more, but
he might end up managing us one day.
I ain't got time to waste my time on trash like that. But you got Adebayor. Like a lot of fans accuse him of duplicity and disloyalty, but hang on here, he
got snaked.
What about Nasri? Nasri blatantly went to Man City to increase his salary, and he even said so. He's disloyal. So it wasn't just Adebayor. It was other players. Van Persie went to a rival. That's disloyalty. So when I look at all
disloyalty in football thing is a myth.
Yeah, but that's why I'm astonished that a lot of fans sing these players' names. I'm very astonished that the fans sing the managers' names. Just sing your club's names. We've got some beautiful songs about the great.
You said North London forever.
Oh please! Oh please! That bollocks. Seriously, that shit. Sorry about your algorithms and
no, man, boy, it's calm. See where you feel.
I get a strike, but please.
Yeah, I ain't gonna get straight.
We could do a whole show where I can talk about
North London.
How wrong that song is for our football club. That song is one of the
strikes fear in the opponents, man.
Shows identity. Nonsense. Let's just say a certain section of our fan base will always promote garbage like that. Now, I'm not gonna go into it. I'm not gonna even put meat on the bones of what I just said. You know the score. I'm not stupid. The chat are not stupid. We know the sort of people who would like crap like that sang at our grand. We know it. We know it. Let's talk about football.
That song kills me, man. If you don't laugh, you'll cry. Obviously, last time I spoke to you, Unks, it seems like we're going to get better. Do you have any
We
hope
need
that he can turn things around?
We
Could
need
he
him.
be, Atletico links, experience? He's helped them win trophies, bought signings. Is this the man we need? Do you have hope that we can have a summer that can really address all the areas, or is it just
You know
a
what?
hope?
You know what? You live in hope, because let's not forget. Right? Man United was saying this thing about that Ashton guy, innit? That Ashton guy.
Dan Ashworth.
Ashworth, sorry, Dan Ashworth guy, who worked for the FA, got a very good reputation. Brighton got a good reputation, very good reputation. Newcastle went to Man United, didn't work out. So it's hit and miss. But one thing I would like for this guy, before the guy gets appointed, if this appointment is the board's appointment, then I ratify it. The reason why I ratify it is because I want him to be able to be a situation where he'd be able to tell Mikel Arteta, no, you can't have this, you can't have that. He'd be able to tell Mikel Arteta, sorry, for you to get this player we need, or these group of players we need, you can't just keep certain
Can't do
players.
the spoiled kid thing. It's that and that only anymore.
You're going to have to be able to sell one of your stars.
You're going to have to be flexible.
It's not enough to sell Smith Rowe. It's not enough to sell, Nketiah. It's not enough to put Reece Nelson on his 200th loan. You know what I mean? You've got to have some balls. Put your nuts on the table and say, you know what? One of your stars has got to go, because at the end of the day, we're a business. And I'm sorry, that's how he's got to be looking at it. Another thing as well, for the good of the football club, it has to work for the club. But I can tell you now, if it works for the club, it won't work for Mikel Arteta. I can promise you now. If it works for this guy's good at his job.
What do you mean by that, for those that might not understand?
Well, I'll tell you why. We've seen it many, many times in football. Many times in football, that the minute the board bring a sporting director into the club, the manager is the casualty. And the reason why the manager is the casualty, because the manager can't control the new employee, and he can't control the narrative. He will be given players he will say he doesn't want, and the players he says he wants, he may not be able to get his own way on it. And what will happen is that the manager will pick a fight with the sporting director, and go to the club and say, it's either him or me. And the club will say, well, it's him, jog on. And I can tell you categorically, we got a situation where we may see the end of the manager because of the fact that if this
he just signed a new big boy contract, Kenny, man.
So what if he signed a big boy contract? There's a lot. Dan Ashworth.
3 years on that 15.
Dan Ashworth went to Man United with the biggest reputation going. He was going to be the guy who was going to get A, B, C, D. He only lost 4 months. He only lasted 4 months. His contracts mean nothing in football. All contracts.
Yeah, but we're not going to rip up his thing.
All contracts in football do is secure you for the rest of your life. Contracts can be broken. You can still be sacked if you go have a contract. You can still be sold by a club if you've got a 3-year contract.
Must be nice being on 15 mil a year, man.
All contracts do is secure your future and secure your family's future.
Secure the likes targets, 100 points likes target, people.
Exactly. Contracts is like signing is basically you signing your life away, but getting a guarantee you're going to get the money away. Doesn't mean you can't be sacked. You know this. You've been in football all your life. And not only you've been in football, you know people, within the journalistic side of things.
I've seen the other world of it. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
I'm just asking you because people in the chat might not know.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is because you're involved in youth football and you've seen how you've been told how
I've seen contracts.
Work, and you've seen how
I write my own book.
Contracts.
I'm playing in the Prem.
Yeah, you know full well that contracts mean sweet FA. All it guarantees you is a payment in the end that you get paid within that contract. If you get sacked, you're still going to get your money.
Yeah, no, you're right. But do you think that will happen though? Because I think when I hear one thing that annoys me, Kenny, is the fighting thing. I'm not against it. Pardon?
Football's a funny old game. Let me tell you something now. Managers, where I come from, managers and powerful sporting directors don't work. 2 and 2 when 2 and 2 has to always equal to 4. I'll tell you now, if you get a sporting director with a lot of, who's got the ear of the owners, and you've got a manager who's under pressure to deliver trophies, 2 and 2
externally, not internally.
2 and 2 will equal 5. It won't equal 4. Someone will have to lose their job. And I'm saying that getting this guy in, on the surface, it can help Mikel, but I can tell you right now, they're not going to get on. They're not going to get on.
I think there was a disagreement with Edu and Arteta. I've got no evidence of that. I just think that Edu wanted to do one thing, Arteta wanted to do another.
But that's the thing.
I don't feel one man should just be running our club.
That's the thing. You've seen it in many clubs. You saw it with Kevin Keegan. He spent a lot of money. Newcastle floated the club on the stock
with Mislintat as well at this very club.
They got someone in from the stock exchange who told Kevin Keegan, you would do this or not. And Kevin Keegan said, no, I'll go. Either sign it or go. And 17 went and they got rid of him. Let's rewind back to Wenger's last year. All the things that we were asking for, a director of football, a talent scout,
revamp our scouting system,
revamp our scouts. Arsenal got in Michelin, Salahi, and who else? They got someone else in Wenger's last season
there as well. I can't remember his name for the life of me.
In Wenger's last season, they got him in. What happened at the end of that season? Arsene Wenger announced he was leaving the football club. These guys stayed. History.
Football. You could argue managers have never been as more disposable. I'd say in the last 10 years as they have. So you're right.
Pixel Pioneer says, "What is the guarantee we get?"
Wait, who?
There's Pixel. There's no guarantees we're getting aligned with a new manager, but just because there's no guarantees that we can get.
No guarantee in life.
Mikel Arteta has outlived his utility at the football.
This ain't a youth club. People should be butting heads. That's what I was going to say, Kenny. It annoys me when people, not necessarily people in the chat, but people saying, oh, they're not going to see eye to eye. Or every time you see something close to a punch up on a training ground, like you probably saw with Trent and Salah, everyone's like, what's going on? This is sport. This is bare testosterone and whatnot. This should be happening. This is what we want. I know Arsenal, we like to do this winning through harmony and this kumbaya kind of thing. That does not get us over the line. Anyone that cares about the Invincibles and those that were like winning stuff for Arsenal before us, all the Invincibles say they were arguing, they were fighting, they were going to war with each other. Thierry Henry was competing with Bergkamp, getting to training early. I've seen my team win a league at the Ops ground, Spurs' ground, and actually going mad. Big Layman and Sol Campbell going mad, not because they're not happy to win the league, but because they drew. It's that excellence. If you're fighting with what's essentially your brothers in arms, rivals have no chance.
Well, we've seen it now. We saw it last season, and we've seen it a lot of this season. We've seen that even a draw puts our fans at the meltdown. Both sides. Fans defending the manager vigorously, and fans who want the manager to be replaced, saying that's it. Because what we've seen in the last few years, to win the title, you have to be immaculate. Liverpool are winning this title out of cancer because they've been virtually immaculate. Man City won the title the last few times.
Some teams are ruthless.
Because they've been immaculate. For Arsenal to win the title in 2023 and 2024, we had to be immaculate. There was no margin for error. We've seen this season where
red cards,
many margins for error. We've seen many margins for error, and because we've seen two margin errors for our liking, we are 15 points behind Liverpool, albeit with a game in hand. It's not good enough, is it?
No, but we'll hide behind these injuries were unprecedented, and there's been injuries, loss of form. We couldn't do anything in the market, Kenny.
Yeah, but only a pork chop would believe that. Only a pork chop would believe that.
And the thing is, I don't even disagree with these points in isolation, but for me, they're cop-outs. Unfortunately, they're cop-outs. They play a part for their cop-out. Injuries, we know we needed signings. Referee decisions, you're taught they go against you. And half the time in these games, we could have won them anyways. Apart from that, what are we talking about? 100 odd million spent on Havertz and Marino.
But remember,
but the Conkeys don't back anything.
Not everyone thinks the same way. Everyone who supports.
Kenny, this is common sense.
Yeah, but everyone who supports Mick Arteta are going to use factual events to support their argument. They, right now, a lot of people have been saying that the
Tell them
reason why
again, Scheme,
Arsenal
keep
win
it
the league the
civil.
last 2 years is because we're up against an exceptional Man City team, and that Pep's unbeatable. Well, this season, Pep has been completely fallible, yet we haven't been in line. So what's the excuse this season?
We have a striker. We beat West Ham at the Emirates next season, and we win the league.
Yeah,
Still talking about the same things.
Yeah, but the reason now we've gone from facing an exceptional Man City side to the fact that refereeing decisions haven't gone our way. Injuries have been our Achilles heel, and in key moments, that's what's cost us football matches.
No, Kenny, do you know what the new one is? It's Salah's having such a great season, which take nothing away. He's immaculate. He's having a great season, but come on, what has that got to do with Arsenal being 15 points?
You can't really use that.
No, that's not, Kenny. I promise you. You said you're off Twitter. Yeah, you need to get back on Twitter. You go and see it.
You know what
Kenny, they're getting smarter with it.
Yeah, but what I've been saying is that Salah can still have an exceptional season, but if all our players play well and get the results we should be getting, that'd be irrelevant. How many times has Harry Kane scored 30 goals?
I lie, and it ain't meant nothing.
Harry Kane's been exceptional from 2015, but unfortunately for Harry Kane, he hasn't been able to deliver the trophies. So individually, he's been doing his job, but the Spurs have come across better football teams. Hence the fact these teams have won the league, have beaten them in big games, i.e. cup finals and semi-finals. And that's why, even despite Harry Kane's brilliance, they won the league. Salah's brilliant. He's been brilliant, but other players have been brilliant.
Yeah, Liverpool have won battles in terms of winning stuff, but they haven't won the war against City. So it's a cop-out.
Their midfield has been the best midfield in the country. Their midfield this season is level above Arsenal.
Look how Gravenberch is playing. And in relation to this pixel, whether he's changed the narrative or not, that's the whole point. One love for the rebuild and all that stuff. Now it's about getting over the line, and every point of getting over the line, you flop.
Yeah, but the thing is, you can't parade narratives at a town hall this May. The fact is that fans, you support a big club. Every club. Club supporters have a right to feel being patient. Arsenal fans have been the most patient fans I've ever seen. They went 9 years without winning a trophy when they had the sitting manager and Arsene Wenger, and they had to wear that. They've now gone 5, 6. It's going to be next year season. It's going to be 6 years without a trophy, and they're wearing that. They're wearing the fact that they've bottled the league twice before their very eyes. And when they're supposed to be the next cab of the rank, what's happened? Liverpool have just won the title at Kante. It wasn't even
more
close.
Explaining. Need more explaining. Winners win, losers explain. And that's the level we need to go to now. And that's the most annoying thing.
People says Mick Arteta is not getting sacked. Well, and I'm making a narrative. Well, I'm only going by what I've said.
I don't think he's making a narrative, man.
No, he says, stop this narrative. We all know he's not getting sacked. He probably won't get sacked, but managers resign as well. Managers fall on the sword. Managers can still get resigned and still have the term mutual consent. All I'm saying right now is that the pressure is on Mick Arteta, whether we like it or not. People within the media are asking questions. Arsenal fans are being listened to, and it's not the Arsenal fans that go on Deluded Gooner show, or go on AFTV, go on Lee's channel, or go on on Arsenal shows. I'm not going to talk about a show called The Football Terrace, which is not an Arsenal show, but for some reason it gets most of its views when it talks about Arsenal, which is a bit.
We can show the net, man.
It's weird, but that's another discussion itself.
And that Henry says Arsenal are so amazing and whatnot. Fucking Spurs fan.
Radio Live, who has no connection to any of these channels, who says, I'm not happy, I want change. And it'll be the fans of the stadium who say, I'm not happy, I want change. Or it's the fans that stay away. It happens in football, regardless of whether I've got a narrative or not.
%.
The fact is, you can't ignore the fact that we were meant to be the next cab of the rank, and that Mika
youngest squad, growing of age, innovative manager. As Kenny said, we were meant to be the next up. And then now all the things that we were saying, the gloves were off in the summer, blah, 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 blah. It's neither here nor there. We're now saying it that we're doing this going into next summer. They fumbled January, they fumbled summer. Let's hope they don't fumble this one.
Pixel, I never mentioned the reason why Edu left. I just said he was left. Where he got a better job or not, that's not the case. What I said is that Edu, Mikel Arteta's power base has been strengthened with that because Edu.
If anything, I mentioned Edu.
A football club. Whether Edu left of his own volition or whether he was headhunted doesn't mean anything. The fact is, what I'm saying is that Mikel Arteta is the alpha and omega at the football club.
He knew to get out at the right time, manager, to be fair.
Which means even with Edu and even with Vinay, he still ran football affairs. In fact, he had close control. Sole control over football affairs. That's a fact. That's not me speculating. That's a fact. And the reason why I say it's a fact, look at the title team manager. The title team manager states that you have complete control over football affairs. The title head coach states you have control over the first team and the teams come beneath that. I don't make the rules up. I just look at the facts. Team manager means complete control over football affairs. No, he cannot have another season. No, he cannot. His time is up. He's had 6 years, which if you look at it, if you compare it to long-serving managers out there, the only managers who've had more time than Mikel Arteta, who are currently in their jobs, are Simeone and Guardiola. Why? Because they're successes. There's managers who've been more successful than Mikel Arteta, who've lasted less than Mikel Arteta. I can tell you right now, don't be surprised if what's his name? Real Madrid manager Ancelotti. Don't be surprised if Ancelotti says, you know what, I'm going to fly off to the sunset, this season because he's done his job.
If he wins another chance, he might as well, man. He deserves that, right?
He would have been at Real Madrid for only 3 or 4 years. Yet, and he's been successful. Yet, Mikel Arteta, who hasn't won anything, he's only won one trophy in 5 or 6 years, he still should be at the club.
He's won 3. He's won 2 English Super Cups. Community Shields, along with the FA Cup.
Was Wenger a win now manager? Well, I'm not too funny. Arsene Wenger had foundations. He had a back four. He had the best back four in Europe in the league. He had David Seaman. He had Ian Wright at the football club. He acquired Dennis Bergkamp. So I would say that his first full season, he won the league because he came to Arsenal mid-season in October, and we came third. We were level on points with fourth place Liverpool.
Boy, I agree with this.
With Newcastle, second place Newcastle, but Newcastle got into the Champions League on goal difference, and we got into the Europa League, or the UEFA Cup as it was called then, in 1997. The year afterwards, when he had his first full season, he won because he had foundations. And I'm saying that Mikel Arteta will have, even if he goes, if we keep Saliba, if we keep Gabriel, if we keep Bukayo Saka, those 3 top players, those I believe that they're good enough foundations for the next manager to work with.
I don't think that's lies there. What are you saying for Saliba on that topic? He says he wants to stay and win trophies at Arsenal, as leaving without doing so would see the fans forget about him. Talks over a new contract between Saliba and Arsenal are yet to begin, but the French international says there is no rush to renew his deal, which expires in 2027. What do you make of that? More upbeat?
What else would he say?
Listen, I agree with you. I just have a job to ask you.
What else would a sitting Arsenal player say? What else would an Arsenal player say?
You'd be surprised. Some people, when I spoke about this on my last stream, Geddy, that people lapped it up. I have no doubt he wants to win and would do all of this. But as you said there, what else is he going to say? He has not signed a new deal. Would you be in a rush to do that?
With age comes cynicism. And the reason why
exactly. And at some point, he's going to have to look at this and think, "Raw, where these are going, where I want to go is different."
I can't speculate what he would do, but one thing I'll commend the club for doing is that I would offer him a major new contract. Because I know that if I offer him a major new contract and Real Madrid comes sniffing, I could say Real Madrid, no, I
100
don't
million.
want 60 million fans for him because he's now signed a new contract. I want 90. If you want that, so really and truly, Saliba signing a new contract is good for Arsenal. It's good for Saliba because it's highly
More money,
likely
man.
that he'll get more money. He'll be able to renegotiate or negotiate a high salary at Real Madrid because like Real Madrid have a kind of a system where they have to have nots. You've seen it before at Real Madrid. Certain players, and dare I say it, the African players get paid considerably less than the European players.
It's just like any walk of life, man.
Yeah. So if
he went
to Real Madrid armed with a new Arsenal contract, of course he'd be able to name his price. But the fact
look at Rudiger, potentially Trent, and Mbappe. But hey, I hope he don't leave for free, you know.
Well, he's not going to leave for free. But the fact is that he's saying the right things. A sitting Arsenal player should not be saying, it's my ambition to play abroad and that I need to win things. A sitting Arsenal player should be saying, I'm going to sign a contract because this club is going places. I've got a top manager who I respect and who I run through big rules for, and we're going to win trophies.
A bit like what you said with Arteta. What else is he going to say? Kind of thing.
So you got to remember one thing. It means nothing. It's his job. I say a bit like Roy Keane, it's his job. But football works in a way where what was how to say it, what was good today may be different yesterday, and that's why I say.
Unless you're Mikel Arteta.
Things change in football. Things change in football when it comes to players as well.
Things change. Saka was playing left back. Now he's the best right winger in the league, excluding Salah. Things change. I used to have cane rolls. Now I've got a skin fade.
But the fact is that have you ever heard Trent Alexander-Arnold come out and say that he wants to go Real Madrid? I haven't heard him say it.
There's obviously exceptions to the rule, but very rarely are you going to see a player, especially like Saliba with somewhat of an affinity, or an academy player like Trent, as you said, go and say that. The only difference I would say in the early 2000s, you did kind of, well, for me growing up, I did see Vieira and these guys kind of be a bit more crystal clear with it.
And if you want me to be a real cynic, this season, after Liverpool games, I've very rarely seen an interview with Trent Alexander-Arnold, but I've seen more interviews with Van Dijk and Salah. But I rarely see Trent Alexander-Arnold be interviewed. And I bet, and not once when he's rarely been interviewed has as a journalist dared ask about his future. Dared. And you know why?
All the time as well. Rooney as well.
You know why he wouldn't dare ask about it? Because I'll tell you one thing.
Liverpool's different, man.
If they let you into the circle of trust, you behave.
Yeah, good boy stuff.
Your Oinsteins, all their friends who get involved, you know.
And you want to keep them sweet because when he goes to Madrid, you want to get him interviewed.
You don't, like, for instance, why do you think Mikel Arteta walked out of the interview? Because
they're asking questions he shouldn't be asking.
Yeah, because simple reason is that the interviewer works for Sky Sports. He doesn't work for Arsenal TV, our independent channel. He doesn't work for he's not Oinstein, who's been allowed into the circle of trust. He's not other fans turned journalists have been allowed into the circle of trust. He's an employee of Sky Sports. So as an employee in Sky Sports, he's going to ask the questions that Sky viewers want answered. Just like I said last week when I was on the show, maybe your show, where when I was asked a question about Thierry Henry's views on Arsenal, and I compared it to Paul Merson. I said Thierry works for. No,
you don't. But we can get into that because it's been Mikel Arteta versus.
I said Thierry works for CBS. His viewers are CBS viewers who support Arsenal, but don't just support Arsenal, they support other clubs across Europe and in the UK. Just like Paul Merson, his viewers and his audience, and I use the word the same for Mikel Arteta, his audience is, Paul Merson's audience is Arsenal fans, Tottenham fans across London, fans across Manchester,
football fans all over.
In general. So he doesn't work for Arsenal Football Club. This journalist who Mikel Arteta done a runner on or stood
They've
up.
got Keon now as well, man.
You know, it's part of parcel football. He asks the questions. He works for Square. He doesn't work for Arsenal.
They got Keon as well, man. We've lost Keon. Would you make of this? Arsenal are plotting a potential move to sign Bruno Gomares from Newcastle this summer. Makes a change from Isaac. Slightly more realistic than Isaac, but I don't think we got a snowball's chance.
You know what? I'd take a pinch of salt unless it comes from Carvo's, Dharma Sheffield or Solike. And the reason why I say that is I go by experience. I'm not
going to lie, Ornstein as well.
I go by previous experience. Maybe Ornstein as well. But when we knew last season and the season before who Arsenal were linked with, because it was on Sky. The club never denied it, and the clubs involved did confirm that Arsenal were in for those players. I haven't heard any evidence from Newcastle that Arsenal have contacted the representatives of Bruno Guimaraes. As far as I know, Bruno Guimaraes is very happy at Newcastle.
He's a Brazilian Geordie, as I call him.
Bruno Guimaraes is preparing for the biggest game of his career this Sunday.
Yeah. Which I ain't got a skin in that race. I personally think our Arsenal players after the Chelsea game, they'll be looking at that in disappointment. That was a really, really good opportunity, but it's neither here nor there. I'll believe it when I see it, man. I'm at the point these guys need to arrive before I believe anything.
But Pix was very active. He's asking a lot of questions. He's saying, why was Arsene Wenger allowed to go? Felt 14 years without winning a title, but we're not allowing Mikel Arteta to have that.
Where's he point? Where did he said that? Where's he said that?
Go up. I'll tell you why Arsene Wenger was. Arsene Wenger was never allowed to have 30 years without winning a trophy. We were shouting it from the rooftops. I was active.
He even got a back-to-back FA Cup as well. Yeah. Like Arteta got sacked. Wenger got sacked for less than that.
I was very, very active in movements to have Arsene Wenger replaced as Arsenal manager. I never accepted Arsenal going 30 years without a title. I didn't even accept 1 year without Arsenal winning the title. And I certainly was not going to accept any years of failure in Mikel Arteta. I don't accept failure. I support the third biggest club in the country. The three big clubs in England are Liverpool or Man United, Liverpool, and Arsenal. And if you're a supporter of all three clubs, you don't accept transitions. You have to win trophies. You don't support Portsmouth. You don't support Plymouth. You don't support Crystal Palace. You don't support Fulham. You certainly do not support Notts County. You support Arsenal. So at Arsenal, whether you like it or not, whether it's been inbred in you that not every time you have to win trophies, that you shouldn't be entitled to a football fan. When you use narratives like he's entitled, that you can't win every year, you shouldn't be calling yourself an Arsenal supporter. Because the reason why you shouldn't call yourself an Arsenal supporter is because you should be able to be comfortable with the fact that you support a big club. If you find that uncomfortable, that's your problem. But my viewpoint is that Arsenal have to win trophies every season. Any year without Arsenal winning a title is a disaster and a disgrace. And I'm entitled to say that. I've seen Arsenal win 5 league titles in my lifetime. Admittedly, when I was growing up in the 80s, I never thought I'd see Arsenal win a title. Liverpool were the alpha and omega, and then Everton had a purple patch. And I get it, but once you take the genie out of the bottle, i.e. George Graham winning titles at Arsenal, Arsene Wenger winning titles at Arsenal, that becomes expected. And as a big club like Arsenal, you have to win the title every year. You have to.
And do you know what's the funniest thing, Kenny? Do you know what the funniest thing is? I know Arteta's only won an FA Cup or whatever, yeah. If we just judge it on where Arteta's taking this club to us in these 3 years, not winning a title, he's actually only been, because you can't have it one way. He's changed the standards, and then you're saying when we're not doing certain things, he has it. Remember what he did. He's ultimately dying by the standards he set. He's put himself. The club have put themselves in this conversation. It's not making sense.
Saliba, according to your logics, this is Pixel Good Pioneers again. You'll love it because he hasn't delivered silver. Why are you putting the blame on players as well as a manager? Everyone's culpable. Look,
I
know
quite
you're
like
an
Kenny
Arteta
made that
supporter.
clear. Everybody's involved.
Everyone's culpable. I know you're an Arteta supporter, but you're not going to change my mind. Just like I'm not going to change your mind. Mick Arteta's outlived his utility, and he needs to be replaced because he doesn't deliver trophies. A big club at Arsenal have delivered trophies, and if Saliba leaves Arsenal, then fine. If you ask me, that is Saliba a great Arsenal player? I would say no, because he didn't deliver me trophies,
He's got the potential to do it,
and,
but
and,
he's nowhere in
and
that.
he is part of that 1/11th of player who failed at the highest stage. But the fact is that you're not going to change my mind any time soon, and I'm never going to change my mind. Mick Arteta cannot deliver trophies, therefore he should not be at the football club. It's black and white for me.
And
There's
I hope people are proven wrong in that. But
circumstances where at in my position. You know, the fact is that when you talk about Mick Arteta and you say that he's taken us from an era where we couldn't get in the Champions League to compete for titles, if that's the only reason why you should stay at a football club, and that's your reasons, you're describing a manager that doesn't win trophies. You're accepting of his failure.
happy to just be part of the journey.
Nothing wrong with
There's
that.
no
But
destination.
managers who win trophies, who are going for a tough.
No one said to dismantle the
Period.
whole team.
They
Come
can
on.
use it as their currency, and they said they will get a more of a fair hearing than Mick Arteta because their currency is, oh yeah, I won the league a couple of years ago, and I proved
Invincible trade.
that given the tools, I can get my team over the line and I can lift silverware. Mick Arteta doesn't have that currency. Mick Arteta has just got his reputation for.
And I hope to be proven wrong, you know, because reality is he is going to be here next season, but there has to be question marks. Nah, because I want to win a trophy, man.
I'm not that saloon went a long time ago. I don't want to be proven wrong. I just want a new manager. Simple.
I hear it.
I don't want to be proven wrong. I just want a
I'm
new
open
manager.
to all possibilities, but I've accepted things
No,
are not
I'll
going
give
to
up on
change.
Mick Arteta.
We're not going to move how I want us to move, so F it.
Yeah, this is like WWE. I've tapped out. I can't take no more. This is like the UFC. I've tapped out. My shoulders out of joint. You know, I can't breathe. You know, I'm in submission. No more.
I've had enough.
I've had enough.
Have you seen this? We're interested in Harry Kane. Apparently, buying won't stand in the way of his release clause, which is 67 mil. Arsenal, United, Spurs would all be interested. Should we do the unthinkable?
What's the unthinkable? Harry Kane scores goals. He's the best striker.
As in ex-Spurs man, signs for Arsenal, White Sol Campbell kind of thing.
I don't know. We had Terry Neal. We got Terry Neal from Spurs to Arsenal. He's a Spurs manager, and he joined Arsenal. We had Pat Jennings from Spurs to Arsenal.
Yeah.
We had Sol Campbell from Spurs to Arsenal. We had Cliff Robertson back in the 60s left Arsenal to go to Tottenham. Willie Young left Spurs to come to
Shared our
Arsenal.
stadium once upon a time.
And Harry Kane's an Arsenal junior.
You can actually see him at the trophy parade.
Exactly. I'll take if Harry Kane scored.
Clive Allen as well. That's one for the older ones.
Harry Kane scores on average 30 goals a season in the league. Of course, I'm taking Harry Kane. It's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer.
I hear it, man. Kenny, before I let you get out of here, last question. Score predictions for Chelsea.
The score prediction for Chelsea is...
And PSV while we're here as well, but PSV is a bit of a day.
PSV, we're going to beat them. They've got no confidence. Their fans are coming for a day out. We're going to win 2-0.
Sterling's going to bag.
Sunday, I'm going for a draw.
Everyone keeps saying that, including myself, you know. It's like everybody thinks it's going to be a draw.
They're saying that with a position of strength. The reason why they're saying it is because we can't break teams down. And at Chelsea, tactically, they're not going to make the mistakes. And
score draw or
score draw. Could be 0-0. We really are. Trust me. In the last 60 minutes of games, we struggle to break teams down. If we don't score, in the first half an hour,
we're in trouble.
That dictates how Arsenal are going to finish a football match.
And that's what's annoying, man. That's why why I said for me, I feel with the Man United game, one, as I said earlier, I feel like it's the same thing every week, but I feel like I'm conflicting myself because on one hand, I agree. I think everyone can see we start fast, have them pending thereof. I think we should have killed the game in the first half. But then when I look at it, and I agree with the point that we needed to score within the first, I would even argue 10 minutes in that game, but generally first half an hour. But then I look at it, we didn't really create anything all game, but if anything more in the second half, we didn't put Onana under any pressure. One of the most shakiest keepers in the league. He got a bit of confidence after that game.
Yeah, but the fact is that you know that when Onana leaves Man United, right, then you'll see that he'll be playing to the best of his ability. At Ajax, he was one of the best keepers in Europe.
Had a good year at Inter.
In Europe. English football is the equaliser. English football finds you out. Pixel Pioneers is hogging the limelight, but I'm going to let. Why is Kenny not?
Let's have this, man. Pixel, next time I'm going to invite you, man.
Oh, that's a cop out. That's a cop out by blaming the board.
I don't know what 21 years means because like nobody's mentioned 21 years with Wenger, with Arteta.
That's the biggest cop out ever. Because the fact is that he's been provided with £750 million to spend, and he's been given complete control of the football club. You can't blame the board who've appointed.
They still need to go though.
You can't blame the board who've given an inexperienced manager complete control of football affairs and given the manager over £750 million to spend and say, well, he's not the real issue. No, he is the issue. He hasn't delivered trophies. He hasn't given me success. It's not their fault. They've given Mick Arteta every support to succeed at his football club, and he hasn't succeeded. He's failed. He's got to go. Simple. Off you go. Get someone in. Someone else's turn. Pixel Pioneers.
I hear that. I want the Cronkies to go, but at the end of the day, I don't think the Cronkies are the reason we didn't win the league last year, the year before, or why we're at now. There's a lot that Arteta has to account for purely off his own back, man.
DG, football is full of managers blaming anyone but themselves for the lack of success.
100%. And at the end of the day, Arteta did no one put a gun to my man's head to take the job. He liked it so much he signed a new deal. I'm not saying the Cronkies are perfect, but it goes back to what I said earlier in that you're not a damsel in distress, bro. Like, you're not being held here against your will. You're working for a fucking big and fantastic and beautiful.
There's one more question from Gunnar. He says, if Mikel was the Champions League, would you still want him gone?
You got to want him to stay. Surely.
Let me say something now. I've passed all the conditions and subjectives and keeping Arteta. I've passed it. I've tapped out on him.
What if he gets a Champions League? You want him gone?
My decision's made. I've always wanted him to be replaced, but I really want him replaced. You're not going to change my mind. It's done. I'm done with Mikel Arteta.
If he wins the Champions League, surely he gets a statue.
I'm done. It's over. I'm not even contemplating Mikel Arteta winning the Champions League because, as far as I'm concerned, my decision's been made. He's got to go.
What if he wins the Champions League of the Emirates era, let alone the first time in our history? Does he deserve a trophy? Or if he does an invincible treble as well?
What invincible treble? What treble?
Next year, if he does an invincible treble,
he shouldn't be. No, he's had enough time. He's had enough chances. He's had enough time. It's over. Doesn't matter if you get, and Andrea Berta in. His time's up. He's had 6 years. It's time. It's time to go. He's had enough time to do. Like I said, to deliver success, and he hasn't been able to do that. He's been given enough money to deliver success, and he's been given enough support from the fan base, the media, and the board. His time's over. I'm sorry.
If he wins a treble, though, I mean, if he wins the champs, though,
I mean, how many ways you got it? There's no conditions. The
Champions League, Kenny.
He's not going to win the Champions League.
But what if he does?
There's no if he does. Real Madrid not pork chops, Real Madrid not going to give us a space of, Frizzy Park or a space of scratch ends like PSV did. Real Madrid are here to win the Champions League anywhere where you want it. If you want to play low blocks in order to achieve that success, they'll do it. Not stupid. They've got experienced individuals.
I can't
It's not
disagree.
personal.
But
I don't hate any Arsenal player or any Arsenal employee. I just say as it is. If they're successful, they're not successful. But if they're
so how do
not,
you feel about the Cronk? Last question then. How do you actually feel about the Cronkies? Like,
I say
do
the
you want them
Cronkies,
gone in an ideal world?
the Cronkies are not the problem. Arsenal Football Club's the problem. The
Oh, come
Cronkies.
on, Kenny.
No,
They
no,
ain't
let me no,
ambitious.
yes, it is Arsenal Football Club because the fact is,
Yeah,
is
no,
that
no. You're right on that. You are right on that as well.
It's very, very lazy to blame the Cronkies when the Cronkies.
There's an
brought
underlining
into-
culture at this football
The
club.
Cronkies brought into what Arsenal Football Club is a club. The same things we complain about the Cronkies, we were complaining about 30 years ago. The Cronkies are only doing the same things we were doing 30 years ago.
There's an
Not giving
underlining
their
happy
fans
to be
enough
here and
money,
participate culture.
not moving the times, not getting the big players in. We were doing that 30 years ago. We were doing that 40 years ago. So it's not the Cronkies. The Cronkies are bought into what they believe the club is about. And what I'm saying about the football club is this football club, the way we do things, as far as I know, is not in tune with the requirements of modern football.
Yeah, we don't adapt to the times.
That's the level. They need to get owners who are completely divorced from Victoria Concordia Credit, who are completely on the same wavelength of the Sheikh Mansour at Man Cities and the Abramovich of the Chelseas, where winning is the only option. And to win,
Winning ain't everything. It's the only thing.
They get the best people in every job at the football club, including manager and players, and then they'll say, right, I'll give you the tools, you've got to win. And if you don't win, we'll sack you and get everyone else in. That's how winners behave. Arsenal did not behave like that. So the Cronkies are only bought into what Arsenal is. Now you can get a new owner in, and he can follow my pattern for success.
I can't disagree with that, man. I can't disagree with that, man. I mean, it wouldn't be a live stream unless you said pork chops, man. Kenny, let people know where they can find you, as I always say, man.
Well, you can find me at KennyKen1972 on Instagram. Do not go on Twitter. Twitter's a cesspit of right-wing filth, a cesspit of nonsense and self-praise and morons talking about things other than the Arsenal, morons talking about how much leaving their people cutting their toenails on in the carriage of a train, or morons complaining about someone pushing the queue in a bank. I'm not interested in that crap. I'm only for football.
All right, Kenny, man. I'll see you next week, man. This is always a legendary show.
See you later. It's always good to talk.
It's always good to talk, man. Like from the start to now to the back and forth with it. You're a legend, man, Kenny.
I don't hold back.
That's why we want you here, man.
I'm never right, but I'm honest.
That's all. We just want you to keep being yourself, man. And you're perfect the way you are, Kenny. But don't change, man. Don't change, man.
Yeah,
I want to laugh, man. But yeah, on that note, people, hit the like button, comment, subscribe. We should be back normally on Wednesday tomorrow. Well, next week, people. So yeah, I'll collaborate with Kenny. But make sure you're here, Ken. One love, my guy.
One love, mate.
Peace.